afternoon, my dear listeners. We'll continue today the topic on regulation of pharmaceutical activity, but stop more detail on the licensing of the pharmaceutical activity. State regulation of the pharmaceutical activity is designed to control two different aspects of the pharmacy: practice of the occupation of the pharmacy and the traffic of drugs. The laws designed to control the practice of pharmacy have taken the form of occupational licensing laws or rules and have been administered by boards or commissions composed of licensed pharmacists, whereas laws controlling drug traffic have been administered by other agencies. Every state has laws and regulations guiding pharmacy standards and requirements, addressing issues such as required licenses for each facility and for pharmacists and other employees who work there. Regulating the practice of pharmacy includes examining applicants for licensing, issuing licenses to those who qualify, and setting and enforcing minimum standards governing the operation of pharmacies and pharmacies. The basis of the laws of the European Union member states concerning pharmacy is the Copenhagen Declaration adopted 31st of May 1994 at the European Forum Pharmaceutical Companies. Its main provisions are as follows. Medication is not an ordinary commodity. Pharmacies monitor the quality of drug, guided in its activities with professional and ethical rules. Pharmacist is the only specialist with appropriate qualification required for decisions on assumption of drugs on the market. Education and continuous training allow pharmacists to exercise appropriate control over all phases of retail and trafficking of drugs to the health and safety of society. A mandatory system of licensing manufacturers, importing agents and distributors is essential to ensure that all products conform to accessible standards of quality, safety and efficacy. In addition, all premises and practices used to manufacture, store and distribute these products must comply with requirements to ensure continued conformity to standards until products are delivered to the end user. Licensing is a process by which an agency of government grants permission to an individual to engage in a given occupation upon recognizing that the applicant has attained the minimum competency necessary to ensure that the public health, safety and welfare will be reasonably well protected. In most countries, the law laid down certain restrictions on the licensing of pharmaceutical activities. Namely, owner or manager of a pharmacy has to be a pharmacist. Pharmacists may own limited number of the pharmacies, but this rule depends on the country. Licensing is a procedure of delivery and cancellation of licenses, delivery of doublets of licenses, conduct of the licensed business and licenses registered, control after implementation by licensees of the license term, delivery of orders about the removal of violation of the license term, and also orders about the removal of violation of legislation in the field of licensing. Procedure of licensing from one side gives a right to carry on pharmaceutical activity during the set period of time, and from another is the form of a state control after this type of the activity. Basic principles of state policy in the field of licensing are providing of equality of right, legal interest of all subjects of management, defense right, legal interest and health of citizens, external environment and providing of safety of the state. Introduction of the same order of licensing of economic activity on all territory of the state, and introduction of the same list of economic activity which are subject to licensing in the country. The basic definition of licensing are organ of licensing, license and licensee. The organ of licensing or licensing authority is the organ of executive power defined by the government for licensing of certain type of economic activity. A license is the document of state standard which confirms the right of licensee to introduction of economic activity for certain term on condition of implementation of the licensed terms. A licensee is a management subject getting a license for realization of definite type of economic activity subject to licensing. To practice pharmacy, a pharmacist must become a registered pharmacist, also known as a licensed pharmacist. Pharmacists are licensed by the state board or state authority of the pharmacy. Requirements vary somewhat from state to state, but in general, to be licensed pharmacist must graduate from an accredited college of pharmacy, university of pharmacy, participate in residency or internship program to acquire direct hands-on patient care experience, pass accreditation examination, for example, as NABLEX, National Association of Board of Pharmacy Licensing Examination in USA, etc. And next video we shall continue to get acquaintance with the pharmacy as a science and profession.